Shoo, buddy, I think is what they say these days. Bro.
That's the thing, isn't it?
It's your time to shine. We ain't going to the Alice, but what are we doing?
We're not shining, we're going to try and get a glimmer. You're like a diamond in a goat's ass.
Well, you've angled towards it many a time that I almost want to say you were sooking, but you weren't really sooking. Kind of sooking. That you finally want to work on your own shit.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but here he is.
Yep, so...
She's looking a bit worse for wear,
oh,
bud.
yeah, absolutely. This whole car falls under that category, for sure, so...
But you have been getting stuck in a little bit on the side. You kind of
Yeah,
wanted to get
yeah.
a bit of the prep work done.
Yeah, so
just give us
I've
a
done
bit
a
of
heap
run
of
to
like
it.
little things that I really probably could have filmed and we could have put it on video or whatever, but I just didn't because I only get a chance to do a small bit here and there, hence why it's taken, I don't know, 12 months of mucking around in this engine bay. But I've had enough stuffing around, so hopefully we can put a good dent in it in the next few days or a week or whatever. But
well, now that we aren't going on the big long trip to the Red Centre, we've kind of freed ourselves up a bit.
yeah, so not totally mad about that, you know, glass half full situation. So
Well, you got to try and take some positive.
yeah, so I don't want to harp on too much at the start here, but if you're familiar with these engine bays, you'll probably be able to tell at a quick glance that I have covered up quite a lot of little holes and just bits and pieces like that. Now, I didn't want like the full show car look with this car. I kind of wanted to just get rid of the bumps and bruises that don't really need to be there.
It's mostly stuff for like the factory bracketry sort of pressings that you're not going to use that kind of make it look a bit ugly, hey?
Yeah, and I think maybe just the way they reproduce, like when they stamp these panels, they have to have different dents in for rigidity and stuff like that, or maybe just the tooling itself. I don't know, but I've left holes that need to be, like this one here. A lot of people will usually get rid of that one. That one's your headlight adjuster. I will never adjust my headlights, I don't think, but even
like
so,
to have
I
the
don't
option.
mind the look of it, you know. It's got a nice rounded edge and it looks proper, so that one gets to stay. I've done a lot of welding and metalwork through here, just with so obviously we've still got the big ugly hole for the turbo and dump pipe to fit, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of bumps and bruises, a lot of bits. So I've still got a little bit left to go, so we'll capture probably the last bit of that on camera, and then then we'll start sanding and doing all the stuff that I actually have no idea about. So which is probably why it's taken me so long. I don't have much idea, so I've sort of just been putting it off, but the time has come. So.
First up, we removed the K-frame in order to get better access within the engine bay. No 10mm in the hole, but there's a cheeky little ear plug there. Go on, mate, give it some herbs.
Give it to it. These chicken wings putting in the work. There you go, bro. Oh! Some toolers tools will definitely pump up my shed credit.
Need to join the Red Tool Mafia, bro.
Yeah, I do. I need to do a lot of things.
But you'd never be part of the Red Tool Mafia because you don't have the socks.
Oh, I can get them. Have you worn those yet?
Yeah.
Are they good?
So good.
Ah. If you're familiar with these cars, you'll be able to tell that this isn't a factory piece. A got this one from 12 Volt Customs, ages and ages ago. It's fiberglass. As you can tell, it's not a bad piece, so it still needs to be knocked back and painted white as well, like the engine bay, but it neatens them up a little bit. So yeah, 12 Volt Customs, if you're wondering where that's from.
Especially like, just gets rid of like the wiper motor and stuff like that. And you can hide a lot of things. I think it's people use that cavity to like hide their coils and shit like that as well.
Yeah, you can utilise under here. The factory one's like a super thin plastic. You look at it the wrong way and it will break. They
shatter.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, that's I would have used the factory one if I had a good one, but there's not any good ones around and they look like shit anyway. So do this one, paint it up, body colour, it should be to go.
With the K-frame now well out of the way and plenty of room to move, it's now time to block all the holes in the firewall before getting stuck into our final metalwork.
How good do air tools sound though?
Neighbours don't think so much.
Neighbours. She's starting to come along pretty good there, Oars. You've pretty much got, I mean, essentially all of the brackets and whatever, like the factory brackets that you're not going to utilise, they're all gone now. Or essentially all of them are gone, except for, I think, just those.
Yeah, these ones on the firewall, I think I'm going to grind all them off as well.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably going to bite me on the arse later on when I come back to putting wires in the car, but I'm going to try and run them alternate ways. I might even put some holes behind the engine or whatever. I don't know yet, but I'm going to cut them off anyway, because I reckon I want to do the firewall white as well.
Yeah.
I reckon these are going to look like crap if I leave them on there, even if I peel all this crap off. So I'll get rid of them. And yeah, there's still a few little bits of welding to do, but for the most part,
Yeah.
most of the shaving part has.
Yeah, as I say, this engine bay now, as you sort of see it, it's, you know, it is a shaved engine bay, I guess. There's a little bit of grinding and welding and dollying to do just to finish it up for, I guess, like a, it's not going to be file finish, but for paint finish.
Yeah, and I've got a little bit more welding to do here, but I'm not going to, I'll just tell the guys, I'm not going to weld the entire strut. I've done most of it on this side, I've only got the back part, but this back part, I don't really know how well I can get in to stop it rusting later. Anytime you weld something, obviously it's going to burn off the protection on the back. I'm sort of keeping it in my mind. That's why I'm not going to weld these holes up here either. It sort of seems like I've fallen short, and in some cases you're probably right, but I've got to draw the line somewhere.
So these holes here.
This one and those ones. I don't think you're going to see them, but
I'll tell you what, those rails cleaned up real nice though. When you took off what I guess you call it like a bolt retaining bracket or
whatever those spot welded compensator plate, I guess you call it, and it retained the head of the bolt as well. So they look pretty ugly though. So I was going to leave them, and then I decided last minute we'll cut them off. I'll use a nice flat washer, nice thick flat washer. Yep,
and a stainless sort of socket head.
Yeah,
bolt.
I'm thinking stainless cap head. I'll do like a cone lock, like the factory ones are a cone lock, which is where the end of the nut's sort of like stamped over. So as you do it up, it's essentially almost wrecking the thread. Not quite, but it's really ripping into the thread. It's like a more heavy duty version of like a nylock. So I'll put cone locks back on because that's what was on there. Yeah. With a stainless bolt.
You've done bonnet cable relocation on this.
Yes. So we'll touch on that for the guys that are interested. So you can see here, if you have a look through here first, this isn't obviously where. Well, it might not be obvious, but usually the bonnet cable comes through and it just swings through here and comes around and goes straight into this retaining little bracket there. But what I've decided to do, and people have been doing this for many years, but this is a VT bonnet cable, and so I've got one of those. And what I also did is I got this little grommet here. I don't know if we showed it before, but just to try and do a nice job, what I've done is I've bought, this is a grommet out of like a HQ to WB or something like that, Kingswood or whatever, and it's, I think that's for their bonnet. It's like a bonnet cable grommet for them, but I think they're usually in the firewall. So I got that off eBay. It was like $5, and that's capped it off real nice. Yeah. And then I've just drilled another hole in the side here with another grommet, and basically essentially it runs under the radiator support panel, and then what you do is you grab it like this, it pops out through here, you bolt it in there, and that's it. So the only part of the cable you're really going to see is that bit right there. And
instead of seeing it all the way along, it's a cheap and effective mod that hides the bonnet cable, which usually does look a little bit ugly. And I mean, VT cable and a grommet, job done.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, let's keep rolling.
Yeah, man. Oh, perfect.
Kurt fabricates his own replacement compensator plates out of some scrap 3mm RHS. These will then be TIG welded back onto the chassis rail in the stock location. Some spray-on weld-through primer on the backside will prevent any rust if any moisture is later to be trapped in between the two layers.
Alright, Bull. Giving her a big old rub.
Yeah.
She's rubbed down, ready to go.
Yep.
Now, you'd probably be lying if you said you weren't nervous at the moment.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing, man. So it's
this is
out of my element a little bit,
Yeah.
and then showing everyone around Australia and the world how incompetent I am.
I was just about to say, blatant incompetence.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Oh.
We're getting stuck into it, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got a whole bunch of bare metal there now, so you're going to have to cover
that's
it.
right, yeah. So what I've read is I've got to seal all that up
Within the next 3 hours or so?
Within 3 hours, so
Yeah.
that's where some of this stuff comes into hand. Now, my good buddy Chris, he had some of this stuff left over. It's just epoxy primer, so... You know, as far as I'm aware, epoxy primer is epoxy primer. It's probably not the best stuff, but it's cheap. So we're going to use that. So that's what I'll shoot on to seal it all up and keep all the elements out of the bare metal.
Yeah.
So we'll do that first. What else have I bought here? So this also, Chris hooked me up. He's let me borrow his spray gun. Ooh. This is a pretty cheap gun, but fairly well
received.
Yeah, fairly well received, and it's a pretty good bit of gear. It's a FLG 5 from De Vilblis, so we got that one there. Now the other thing I needed to get for this little compressor here, if you show the guys, that's compressor.
That's me old compressor. This thing is, I mean, that gun there, what do we work out? That's going to use something like 340 litres a minute. 340,
something like that.
Free air delivery, and this poor old girl only pumps out about 250, but the theory that I'm going with, Kurt, is that you're not doing a full side of the car, so you're not going to be on the gun for a long run.
No, very much at all. I don't reckon it'll just be like that the whole way. So
little squirty bit. So we're hoping she should be all right.
Yeah, but one thing I did read up on was the moisture, because this thing's probably going to be kicking in and out quite a lot, and it's a piston pump, so they create a lot of moisture. So what I did is I went ahead and got me one of these things. Now it's a moisture filter, I guess you'd call it, or a trap. Now these are designed, I think, primarily for like plasma cutters and stuff like that, but spray painters have used them. And all it is, actually what I'll do is I'll just show you guys inside. It's just got like a fabric or paper type roll inside of it.
Yeah.
And it just traps all the moisture so it doesn't come out the end of the gun, because obviously if you've got bare metal down there,
We just don't want water in your paint.
yeah, and you don't want it in your paint, in your epoxy that's going on the bare metal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to get corrosion working its way out. So
Yeah.
so that's all it is, pretty basic.
It almost looks like the same size as a bog roll.
I think they do call them toilet roll, and I'm sure you probably can change it out for one of those. I don't know, we'll see how we go.
If you're in a pinch.
Yeah, so I've bought that. Now I got that one from Heron Forbes. It was like $180,
Yeah.
and I think the refills of these are like $20 or something like that. So that actually got here really quick. So I was real happy with that.
Even if it works half as good as it should, it's probably money well spent.
Yeah, that's right. And the other stuff I got, so this is my little paint respirator I got.
Mm-hmm.
I got this one from Aaron at ATEC. He always looks after me with my industrial supplies, so we've got that one there. I've had to buy all sorts of stuff just to do this job that I really don't want to do anyway.
You probably could have paid someone for the amount of money you spent.
First of all, I would have been happy to pay someone to do it. I just couldn't find anyone that had the time and that I was confident using, and
Yeah.
I thought, you know, whatever.
We're
just going to get the bay done. Look, this bay will get done again. I promise you. It's not
Yeah.
going to be up to my standard, but we're just trying to move forward with this project. Get it going. It's going to be a half-baked car even when it's running, because it's going to look like crap. But
That's why it's the Bunky BT1, baby.
that's it. So I went and seen another guy, Ray, at Rise, or Robaines they used to be called. So we've got the paint here. Apparently this stuff's pretty good. So we've got the paint and, you know,
Got some fancy
paper, mixing cups, all
House of
sorts
Colour
stuff.
candy.
Yeah, that's it, mate. White. Straight white. So
Straight white.
1JO64. So yeah, that's about all the stuff. Bit of wax and grease, all sorts of stuff, all this new stuff.
All this stuff that you got to learn how to use in a really, really short amount of time.
Yeah.
Right, man. We better get mixing.
Yeah, I'm gonna spray this thing, dude.
Fuck, this is a big pot, isn't it? Safety first. Honey in there. What are you looking at?
Getting on there. There we go. Something different. Still got a bit there.
It's definitely not welding, that's for sure.
No, I'm definitely not proficient at this at all.
Have a look at this.
All one colour, bro.
That's the first time it's ever been one colour.
Yeah, in this last decade anyway.
Well, from new, it always had a black firewall.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
It's literally never had it all one colour.
Yeah.
Let's have a gaze. I think it looks. I mean, I'm not trying to blow wind up your ass or blow smoke, but I think it's turned out. I mean, let's be honest. This is the first time you've ever sprayed anything. I'm
Yeah.
pretty impressed at your efforts.
Yeah,
honestly.
it is only primer, don't forget. So like,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was a vast improvement on what we had there already.
Yeah. So she's got 2 coats of primer on now.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of. The camera's probably not going to pick it up, and I'm kind of glad it won't. But it's kind of just tacked off. This has been on for a few hours now. A little bit orange peely, but
Yeah, I think that's this primer in general. I think that's just how it comes out. So when I sand it all back down with like 400 or whatever to get it smooth for the top coat,
yeah,
that'll be when it comes good. So
absolutely. It's honestly, man, like I say, I'm pretty impressed. The main, I guess, with these engine bays, the main things that everyone sort of picks up on is they want real smooth around the top of the engine. So the strut towers, which you've nailed it.
yeah, and if you haven't seen one of these factory, there's tons of bumps and bruises all over this stuff, and I kind of went hardcore in some ways and smoothed a lot of stuff out, but then I also left a lot as well, so it kind of doesn't make sense in some ways. But to me, that's sort of I had to get the ones that I really wanted to get rid of that were going to bug me, but then I sort of had to draw the line somewhere as well. So.
The priority bits are done, and we've kind of looked at photos of when everything was mocked in the engine bay, and all the bits that you're going to see, they present really well.
Look, I know it's not going to be a super professional job, otherwise I would have waited and got someone to do it, but this is definitely going to serve its purpose. I think it will look pretty good.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get the gun running sweet for the top coat stuff, and it'll be a beautiful thing. Then we can actually move on to putting it back together to get it running. As opposed to pulling it further and further apart. So. And
it's even the small things like these washers and stuff that you put in the chassis rails to replace those factory, what did you call them, compensator plates?
Yeah, it was sort of like a bolt retaining plate that was sort of doubled as a compensator. Yeah, because this is only pretty thin stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that looks a lot neater anyway. So.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we got a photo, but yeah, this car was in a bad state of disrepair up until now.
If you don't put a photo up in this episode, I think when we do when it's finally done, we'll put a photo up of what it actually looked like in its worst state, and it's come a long way. So especially considering we've got no panel beating and painting experience whatsoever. So
I'm pretty stoked with it, bro. But for now, this has got to harden for a couple of days, right?
Yeah, and I've probably got hours and hours of sanding and all that sort of thing. So
So we're going to leave this one for a couple of days, let it get right, sand it back, and we'll show you all of that in the next installment of the series of poor old Bunky BT1.
Yeah.
But it's going to be coming back to life soon, man. So
we'll get to the fun part soon enough.
Exactly. Yep. So in the next one, we'll get this thing top coated. We'll watch him rage quit when there's a run in it.
That'd probably happen.
Yeah, probably. But thanks, guys, for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know you're pumped because this is the kind of big progress that you've been waiting for to really sort of get you fired up.
It's slow going, but just using that old saying, guys, you just got to keep chipping away. So any of you guys out there with a project, just do a little bit like me, and you'll start moving forward. So.
Yeah, even if it does take you 10 years to do it.
Yeah.
But once this is painted, we're going to start getting it back together, which is super exciting. I know all of you Turbo 5 litre guys are actually really pumped for that. Yeah. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you again on the next one, which could be this car or it could be something else. Yeah. But we will be back on this one very shortly to do the top coat. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Give us a thumbs up for Kurt's awesome effort. Well done, man. I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, man, but I reckon you've done a great job. So catch you around on the next one. Cheers.